Hello and welcome. I am laughing here because I just went live for 30 minutes with a black screen and no audio. So we are all learning something, and I am definitely learning the ins and outs of technology. So my name is Tziporah. I'm from Soulful Relating Institute. I am your intimacy and mindful relating educator, communication and breathwork specialist. And today I am here to share with you, this is our pre-launch to the ELEVATE series. The ELEVATE series was originally created by NGNGEnterprises. So I give a shout out to Amber, leader in the marketing industry. And I'm super excited to share with you about the ELEVATE series. I'm excited to share with you my why to signing up as an ambassador for this series, and a little bit about what's been going on in my life, and then we're going to get to talking about our guest speakers that are going to go live today at 3:30 Pacific Coast time. So if you're back, I appreciate you tuning in. For those of you who were on the call before, I do apologize that what you got for 30 minutes was a black screen. ELEVATE series. I was inspired to be a part of the ELEVATE series out of a daily self-inquiry of how I can be of greater service right now in the world, so global support. And what the ELEVATE series is, it is a live stream. Right now we're running on my platforms for the next 3 weeks. However, I have a good feeling that we will be running probably all through May. I am being joined over the next weeks by some extraordinary human beings, global thought leaders, educators, therapists, counselors, relationship experts, crisis counselors, high performance mindset coaches, speaking experts. And the list is growing daily, and I'm so grateful for how many are showing up to say yes. But before I get into more of that, I want to share with you my personal why. About 4 weeks ago, when all of this started, when we got the word it was time to go into shelter in place, well, actually about a week before that was announced on the news, I am so grateful for community because I was able to be on a call, a community call, with some friends who had inside information to help prepare me along with the community of other people in advance so we could then prepare the community as best as possible and our loved ones. When I received that call, my whole system felt such an urgency. I felt this urgency to take care of my family, to make sure that they were as secure as possibly could be, that they were as informed as possibly can be, and prepared. You know, I have a mom living on the West Coast, a father living on the East Coast, other family, close family living on the East Coast. And I tend to be the information gatherer in my family. So I knew that they wouldn't even know this stuff, how to be in shelter in place. So I instantly was like, what do I need to do? So I went out and did this huge shop for my mom. I went over and disinfected her house, stocked her cupboards. I sent messages and calls to the rest of my family, doing orders online to stock everyone up on immune system building supplements, you know, taking care of myself, my own home. And after that, you know, there was this continuously amount of tears, just, it was like there was no emotion, there was no thought that triggered it. It just felt like this well of grief for myself, maybe for the collective, that just moved through my whole system. And I just allowed that grief and those tears just to move through me. I allowed my body to have what it needed. And in the midst of that, I sat with this self-inquiry. And that daily self-inquiry was, how can I be of greatest service? How can I be of greatest service right now for community, for my neighborhood, for the world, for my family? And there were two different, I like to say two different columns, but there was this one space of urgent action. And I'm sure we've all felt it. It kind of feels like we're walking 10 steps ahead of our body, which eventually that will create burnout. I've been there. I know it. And then on the other side of that, there's this place of just center. There's this calmness in the center of the storm. And that means whatever information comes at that center, there can be a place of clear action and clear choices. It doesn't mean we're not doing anything. So in that moment, that awareness was, I have to be grounded, centered, clear, and present in order to be able to take any next steps to help, to assist, to guide, to be of support to anyone around me. And I know we've all heard that saying of put our oxygen mask on first. Put your oxygen mask on first. And from that place, that's where we can show up. Because after that commitment, that it's like, no matter what, for overall well-being, for me to show up, for me to continue, that had to be priority. And choosing that actually meant it was actually an act of love towards my loved ones, towards those around me. Because I was going to give them all this presence when I had it. And when I didn't, I was going to recharge and resource. And from that place, so once I entered in that zone, I received this message. And I'm not the only one who received it, but I was excited to get the amber for the message from NGNGEnterprises and to receive this letter about the ELEVATE series. And it's about this program that she was starting, that Amber was starting on her page, bringing together global thought leaders to support humanity at this time, mentally and professionally. Best practices, how to pivot our nervous system, our attention during crisis. And within that message, there was an invitation that just spoke to my heart and my soul. And that invitation was to become an ambassador of the ELEVATE series. And here I am with you today as an ambassador of the ELEVATE series. And the first things that actually entered my feeling body and my mind after I read that is I got the instant hit that, I'm signing up for this. This is how I want to support. This is how I want to be of service by going live, by gathering community on live streams. And the other side of that went through me was, how am I going to bring this together? I knew it was going to come together, but my mind didn't really have an idea, like, how am I going to do this? Because in all transparency, I am not tech savvy at all. I'm becoming more tech savvy as I'm here with you, take 2 on our live stream today. And I recognize that how stressed I can actually get when it comes to organizing technology. I'll be honest about that. But I'm just like, this is the way, though. This is what I'm going to do. And I've spent the last couple of weeks doing just that. Putting together material, reaching out to some dear friends who are some amazing, extraordinary humans and global thought leaders. Bringing on people who wanted to be a part of this, to help see this impact the world. And so I'm so grateful today by our list of speakers that I will say every day is growing. And as I go through the list in my head, just amazing. We have our kickoff today at 3:30 p.m. Today's guest speakers, we have Scott Thomas, Master Relationship Coach, founder of the Love Coach Academy. So excited for that. We have Dr. Juliana Hauser, dear friend, family therapist, sexpert, author, philanthropist. And then we have Courtney Smith, and Courtney Smith is a crisis counselor. She works and has created this crisis text hotline, as well as just created for COVID-19, for the pandemic, Glimmering Bridges, which is a volunteer support call system, which I am excited that I start my volunteering tomorrow. It's a beautiful organization. I will let Courtney share more about that when we go live at 3:30. But I want to share more of my personal story. And so one of the pieces I feel called to share right now, as I think many of us can feel the stressors in different ways, right? We deal with stress in different ways, all of us. As this prolonged uncertainty continues, as we might not be in our ideal situation and scenarios right now, locked in at home, maybe children home from school, family members, partners, maybe a relationship on edge. And what I contemplate sometimes is, sometimes do people think I have it all together? And I'm here to share with you, I absolutely do not have it all together. I'm going to share a few pieces with you, really vulnerable pieces that I'm going to be honest, I've never shared publicly before, some of them. So at the onset of our global crisis, the pandemic, going into shelter in place out here in Southern California, which is where I am right now, I was previously in intensive treatment for a Lyme's disease diagnosis. And so what that meant for me is a lot of unplugging, a lot of self-care, a lot of daily how am I going to resource and staying resourced. And some days it meant just resting and sleeping or sitting in the garden and staying offline. Because on other days, my desire and I feel my calling is to show up and to be of support for my clients, for community, and the people around me. So it's been this, balancing act of being resourced and coming back here with all of you. And so that's one thing that is on my mind as soon as we started our shelter in place. And then my dear mom, my dear mother, so many of us, again, I can hear like children and family members and elders and work and so many things coming at us. And for me, one of the things that's sits with me daily is my mother. My mother, who definitely has a mind of her own, and I can say I'm definitely my mama's daughter. Here, my whole system wants to make sure she's safe, wants to make sure she has what she needs, wants to make sure she's following the steps to have a clean house, a clear space, and really implement that. And I can be pretty, maybe intense. I'm pretty prepared and aware in that regards. And the moments that she orders takeout and she brings the bags in the house and doesn't disinfect, or the moment she's like, she wants to have people over and bring people into her house, I'll admit that I feel the stress in my body. Oh my goodness, does she know the urgency of this and the importance of not doing that and doing these steps? And Well, if she does that at her free will, and then that difficult decision comes on me, do I then take the choice of not going in her house in order to take care of myself? And I do feel the weight of that at times. And what I continue to come back to is those best practices, putting my oxygen mask on first, the breath work, the mindfulness, the meditation, the movement, the yoga, the being still and quiet for a period of time. And that's why I'm offering this Elevate series. That's why I've invited so many leaders to come on and share with you their stories, their best practices, their tips and takeaways on how to really take care right now in this world. So our service, our mission with the Elevate series is to provide impactful, inspiring, and real conversations to support you as individuals, families, communities as a whole. And so I'm going to leave you with that. And I invite you to join us today for our kickoff at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Coast time. We should be good on the technology systems here. I'm learning. And I look forward to hearing your comments. I look forward to your questions. Send us questions, put them in the comments. What do you want to know right now? You have some amazing experts in their fields right at the palm of your hands right now. They're for you to support you. So I'm sending so much love. Be well. May this day be magical, insightful, and may there be ease as well in your life right now. So much love, so much love. Thank you for joining me.